You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the opening of the legal year commencing today. We have all the details. Plus, a new multi-million-dollar development to start on Abaco soon. We'll tell you more. And Cervical Cancer Awareness Month recognized on Grand Bahama for the first time. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. The opening of the legal year officially began with a traditional march and religious service at Pro Cathedral of Christ the King today. Our Raven Davis was on hand from start to finish and shares the details in this report.
A march from the Garnet Lavardi Justice Center to the Pro Cathedral of Christ the King, preceding a religious service to mark the opening of the legal year in the Northern Bahamas region on Friday morning. The service, well attended by justices, magistrates, and members of the Bahamas Bar Association. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, local school groups, and a host of other dignitaries also on hand. In traditional fashion, devotional hymns and scripture readings, setting the mood for worship and thanksgiving in the sanctuary. Rector Canon Norman Lightbourne prefaced his sermon with a reflection on Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19, saying that the journey of recovery has been long, but God remains faithful.
If God takes care of the birds in the air and the flowers in the fields, surely He will take care of us.
But some of these challenges, he notes, are systemic. Alluding to issues within the justice system, he encourages legal practitioners to be focused, fervent, and faithful in the execution of their duties.
Hundreds of Bahamians are anxiously awaiting on you to hear their complaints and settle their disputes. Remember, you are supposed to be honorable men and women, belonging to an honorable profession. Do so with integrity. You must have strong moral principles and convictions. Remember, honesty is still the best policy.
Cassinique Burrows, a student at Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy, passionately raising a song deserving of a standing ovation. The proceedings concluding with a march that subsequently led to an inspection of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Honor Guard by the Honorable Chief Justice of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Sir Ian Winder.
Up, on the end. Run right.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Thanks, Raven. Well, good news coming in for Abaco, a new $800 million project set to begin in a matter of months in South Abaco. The heads of agreement was signed between the government and the South Abaco Land Development Company back in December of 2022. Tonight, Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, John Pinder, gives his take on the new project. Our Aja Quanten joins us live in studio with the details. Aja?
Yes, it is a big deal that residents in Abaco, particularly the South, can look forward to for years to come. 700 acres, including a marina, a golf course, and estate homes. Hundreds of jobs are expected as a result of a multi-million-dollar investment set to come on stream within months, according to Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, John Pinder. The development company chose the island of Abaco to build the luxury resort, Kakuna. The Member of Parliament says this new project spells a new economy employment opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities, and skill development for the island. Since the government and the development company signed a heads of agreement for the project in December, shovels are expected to be in the ground in the coming months.
It has 3 phases to it. So it has hotel components, there is golf course, there is estate homes, and there is a small marina. This is going to be revolutionary in terms of the economy in South Abaco.
Standing on the commitment to ensure every community in Abaco thrives, the project's skill training component, according to Pinder, is the most important one.
As the project grows, the Abaconians, Bahamians alike, will be given the skills to grow with it. So it is a real career path, and the sky's the limit. So there is a lot of good things at hand, a lot of opportunity and a lot of growth potential for the South. And it's one of those projects where they've redone the scope of it a few times to make it very low density and almost a surgical implant of these structures, so it looks like it's been there for a very long time.
The Sandy Point community situated in South Abaco also stands to benefit, Pinder adding that this resort will give the locals of that area a variety of opportunities as they previously had to travel a great distance for daily activities.
The construction aspect, which I don't have the figures in front of me, but we're talking 300-400, and then the long-term running of it is hundreds of more permanent jobs moving forward. So it's more jobs than we have people in South Abaco. So we are going to have it's going to be good for this generation and future generations moving forward.
MP Pinder also noting that the Kokona project will take years to complete. However, Simone, he says the South Abaco Land Development Company Limited is eager and ready to start phase 1. Live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Azure Quant. Back to you, Simone.
Thanks, Azure. Well, in news from the courts, 4 adult males ages 20, 25, 29, and 31 charged in the Freeport Magistrates Court with possession of an unlicensed firearm with the intent to put another in fear. The group pleaded not guilty and bail was denied. They were all remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until May 25th, 2023. In the second instance, 3 adult males ages 20, 19, and 31 were arraigned in the Freeport Magistrates Court for possession of an unlicensed firearm and possession of ammunition. They pleaded not guilty and were also denied bail and remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until May 24th, 2023. Meanwhile, in the third instance, a 22-year-old male was charged in the Freeport Magistrates Court with 3 counts of bail violation for failing to charge the electronic device. He pleaded not guilty and bail was granted in the amount of $1,000 in cash. The young man was ordered to sign in at the Central Police Station 3 times per week. The matter has been adjourned to March 1st of 2023. Well, also in news from Bimini, police on that northern island arrested a 19-year-old male of Baileytown after he was found in possession of a quantity of suspected marijuana on Wednesday. Preliminary reports indicated that officers were on mobile patrol in the area of a business establishment when they observed the young man acting in a suspicious manner. The young man was searched and a small quantity of suspected marijuana was discovered. The weight and value of the suspected drugs are unknown at this time. However, police continue investigations. Well, January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and this year it is being recognized for the first time by the Grand Bahama Health Services. Cervical cancer is the 4th leading cause of cancer in women worldwide, and although it can be treated, the Grand Bahama Health Services and members of the Cancer Society are joining forces this month to bring greater awareness to the disease. Our Aja Quant has the details in this report.
It is one of the most preventable and treatable types of cancer. Both organizations joining the international campaign to help spread the word for women in the community to be more informed, screened, and vaccinated. Placing a display in the foyer of the hospital, the Public Hospitals Authority Grand Bahama Health Services launching their free cervical cancer screening and HPV vaccination clinic for the first time.
The PHA and by extension the Grand Bahama Health Services are moving forward with initiatives like this one to help the Grand Bahama community become more aware, knowledgeable, and healthy citizens.
Also involved in the initiative are doctors of the gynecology department, who reveals that they are seeing an uptick not only in the country but worldwide.
It is important for the RAD to promote this initiative because, unfortunately, over the past several years, screening has decreased globally, actually, partly due to the pandemic. So a lot of services that were offered were not offered during the pandemic. And we also know that our screening rate is low within the country.
Over the next year, we will be gathering our data, but we do know that we established a gynecology surveillance clinic in Grand Bahama in 2021 with the assistance of our oncologists, our gynecologists, who are the doctors that manage these conditions, and that we are starting to be able to gather our local data.
The Cancer Society of Grand Bahama collaborating with the GBHS, noting that they receive donations to put on events like this free screening, while thanking the Grand Bahama Health Services for the partnership.
We focus a lot on prevention, and so it gives me great pleasure that this initiative is taking place. And so therefore we invite women to come in because we want you to be tested. We want you to know your status.
The clinic will be held at the Paris Plaza Specialty Clinic from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and they invite all females 21 and older to be screened and females ages 12 to 45 to be vaccinated. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azra Quant.
And when we come back, a local sorority is celebrating 110 years in a special way. That story and more, including the latest in sports, when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
The ultimate brunch full buffet is back at Portobello's in the Grand Lacayan Hotel every Sunday from noon until 4 p.m. Call 373-1333 for more information.
Shape Your Crepe will celebrate its anniversary on Saturday, January 14th. Catch the crepe eating contest from 2 to 3 p.m. For more information, phone 688-4273.
Hi, I am Corporal 3230 Perez Demerit of the Traffic Division, Grand Bahama. You can prevent a serious traffic accident by practicing safe driving. Here are a few traffic safety tips. Obey all traffic signals and traffic signs. Wear your seatbelt at all times. Reduce your speed and drive with due care and attention. Pull over to answer your cell phone, send a text message, or attend to any distractions, such as kids, pets, reading the newspaper, or eating. Finally, do not drink and drive. If you plan on drinking, use a designated driver. After all, it's all about creating safer communities.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The world's largest black sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, is celebrating 110 years of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. In honor of the organization's Founders Day, the local chapter, the Grand Bahama Alumni Chapter, hosted a number of events, including a special donation for the winners of a recent essay competition. Jolanda Thompson Everest has the details.
The sorority is founded on January 13, 1993, on the campus of Howard University by 22 historical women. It is one of the largest sororities founded in the United States and has more than 350,000 initiated members deemed college-educated women. The sorority currently has over 1,000 chapters, and just to name a few, with locations in Bermuda, Canada, England, Germany, Jamaica, Japan, South Korea, and the Bahamas. The membership chair, Aja Quant, speaks vigorously on their activity at hand.
We are an organization of college-educated women committed to the constructive development of our members and to public service with a primary focus on the Black community. And so this year, for our Founders Day, we are doing a number of activities, one of which is Donation Day that is happening today, where we were able to give $2,450 to the Beacon Schools shelter program. And so we are delighted to be able to give back to the community as such as our founders would have done back in 1913.
The membership chair touting that the Deltas will continue to remain engulfed in community involvement because that is what they're all about.
Of course, we stand on the principles of what the sorority was founded on, which is sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action. Basically, we go back to our mission statement, which is to focus primarily on the Black community and make sure that our presence are felt so that we can carry on the legacy of our 22 founders.
Tashana Wilson, Social Action Chair, says that during the planning of both events last year, the sorority was tasked with the action of providing current topics and activities that remain relevant in our country.
2022, our chosen topic was marital rape. Reason being, that's a prevalent issue in our country, and this is something that we need to speak about and for persons to be aware of. It's important to hear the voice of young people, and that's the reason why our committee, the Social Action Committee, came together and we decided that grade 12 to college students would be equipped to answer or put forward their views on such issues. So that's the reason why that topic was chosen.
Here are various recipients expressing how they feel about receiving the donation and participating in the essay competition.
We're extremely grateful for this donation, which will go a long way in helping us to realize some of our goals at the Sheltered Workshop.
I didn't expect to win, like, first place. Because so many people entered, yeah.
My essay was basically on marital rape and its prevalence in the Bahamas, and I basically discussed how even though some people do not see marital rape considered to be criminalized, I stated that yes, it should be criminalized because at the end of the day, you should respect your partner's choices whether or not they want to partake in sexual activity.
Overall, I feel grateful for taking part in the essay competition, and I hope that marital rape is not overlooked anymore.
Delta Sigma Theta has created programs to improve political, education, and social and economic conditions worldwide, particularly within the Black communities. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. The Grand Bahama community continuing to mourn the death of former Deputy Chief Counselor April Crotha Gow. Today, our Raven Davis spoke with her former colleagues who say the nation has lost a community builder, businesswoman, and philanthropist. Here's that report.
The news of April Crotha Gow's passing sending shockwaves throughout the Grand Bahama community. Crotha Gow, a former deputy chief counselor of the city of Freeport, passed away on Sunday. As tributes continue to pour in her honor, former local government practitioners and colleagues are describing Gow as enthusiastic, resourceful, and one devoted to community and capacity building. Recounting a close working relationship with the deceased that developed in 2003, former Family Island Administrator Alexander Williams touts their involvement with the Caribbean Association of Local Government Authorities, a regional body that April would become coordinator of.
Based on the kind of energy and interest displayed by April, we were able to convince CLGF, the Commonwealth Local Government Forum, to bring its biannual conference to the Americas, that is the Bahamas, for the first time and the only time ever since. She was very, very instrumental in procuring that particular of Bahamas as the venue.
Williams says at the time, local government was at its peak in performance and earned a considerable degree of public respect. He says what he will miss most about Crowther Gow is her tenacity. And on the local front, former City Council member Harold Williams remarking that Gow's approach to community service was unparalleled, adding that she was the catalyst for several key developments.
We had some challenges in one of our parks, park in particular, Pioneers Loop Park. We had a bathroom facility where the residents had continually vandalized the bathroom block. April came to one of our meetings and she brought some plans that would have repurposed the bathroom facility into a community center. And today, that community center is still vibrant and it is still serving the community. And that is the Richard Gator Community Center. That's one of the fondest memories I have of her.
During her tenure, Gow's vision and subsequent contributions transcended the city of Freeport. That, former Chief Councilor Cornelius Smith says, is not only commendable, but is deserving of a just reward.
As a former chief counselor who sat at her feet, who learned much from her, I will challenge the local government practitioners in Grand Bahama, East, West, and Central, to identify a person who has the same qualities and characters that April had, and to offer to that citizen an award in the name of April Crowther Gow. I will personally make a financial contribution towards that award of $500 because I believe that her contribution is significant.
Smith says while it is a small token, in the grand scheme of things, the idea is ensuring that her rich legacy lives on. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Thanks, Raven. Tonight, we end our series highlighting the events that led to Majority Rule. In this closing segment, we feature Majority Rule hero Maurice Moore, who reflects on the dissent within the governing PLP that led to the formation of a new party, all in the name of good governance. Here's Ramiko Knowles.
The Burma Road riots of 1942, the labor movement of 1950s, the general strike of 1958, women receiving the right to vote in 1962, Black Tuesday, April 1965, and then the hard-fought general election victory in 1967 to bring about Majority Rule Day. Centuries of blood, sweat, and tears to obtain power, and then there came a division.
When matters came up dealing with major decisions that need to be taken which will support and guide where the Black Bahamians ought to be going, we prefer one thing. Penland said, no, we're going this other way. And so there's where the problems began. And it got to the point where we said, well, we don't believe that's what the Bahamian people want. We don't believe that's where we ought to be going.
Now in 1970, just 3 years after Majority Rule, the disagreements came to a head and the Dissident 8 was formed.
What has happened in our country today is that you have a two-party system. The two-party system, they believe that Penland was all right and no wrong. If he was all right and no wrong, then we wouldn't have two major parties in the country.
It sounds as though there was a thin line between passion and dictatorship. It must have been a troubling time.
They were the difficult days for us because we didn't feel that we should have had resistance from our newly elected prime minister. When you are confronted by your own supposedly brothers and sisters, you have to have a conviction that goes beyond that social relationship, and it goes a little further. It goes to a point where you are laying the plans, laying the foundation. Like when you're going to build a home, you get the plans prepared. Well, we were laying the plans, and we decided that if this is the role we are required to play, then we will play it.
Here we are now, 56 years since majority rule was established. Are you satisfied with the way things are?
Yes, I believe we're making progress, but on the road there's usually hills and valleys. We may be in a valley now, but we're poised to go back to the hill where we're better seen and better heard and better felt.
And that brings a close to our 4-day series recalling the events that led to majority rule. I certainly learned a lot this week, and I'm sure you have as well. On behalf of my cameraman and editor Quentin Gordon, I'm Ramiko Knowles for The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Happy majority rule.
Thanks, Ramiko. Definitely an excellent series. Well, your Friday Check on Sports is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to sports primary school basketball action at the 8 Mile Rock Gymnasium in West Grand Bahama. 3 games on schedule. Let's take a look at the action. Fans showed up by the numbers for the start of the new year at the home of the Blue Jays. The first game of the day was a battle between Holmes Rock Primary and Martin Town. A lot more defense was played in the contest with limited offense. Coach Sherman Major doing his best to rally the girls at the half, but Martin Town was just too fast. This free throw right here was clutch as Martin Town won. Final score 9-3.
I almost thought we were on the losing side, and I was hoping they win this game because this was actually the last and final game in 8 Mile Rock for them to win. We already won all the games in the West, so now we're going to take care of the East.
Holmes Rock was back on the court for a second chance to get in the win column, this time in boys play. However, Wilbur Oughton was just a major matchup problem as they cruised with a 12-6 victory.
I think they played well. They got the ball around and into the basket, and they played as a team. Hopefully we're going to practice some more for the next game, and hopefully we come up with the championship.
The final game was between West End and Martin Town Primary. At the end of the buzzer, it was West End that escaped with a 12-4 win in regulation. And finally in sports, now in baseball, Grant Bayman Chavez Young was recently traded from the Toronto Blue Jays to the Pittsburgh Pirates. We caught up with the speedy center fielder who shared his thoughts on the trade.
It was like an awkward feeling actually, you know, but it's for my best interest. I'm grateful always. I'll always be grateful for the Toronto Blue Jays for giving me the opportunity. They were actually my first questionnaire, the first team that scouted me, and clearly they drafted me. You know, I'll always be grateful for the opportunities, and I'll cherish them. But I think I'm in a better situation, better chances and better opportunities with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have high interest in me. You know. So going forward in spring training, there's a lot of opportunities for me going into this year to make it to the big leagues, and I'm ready for it, and just gotta take advantage of every opportunity I have.
And that's how it went at the 8 Mile Rock Gymnasium. More action will continue on Monday. That's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Have a great weekend.
presents the Bahama Brass Band, live in concert under the patronage of the Honorable Philip Brave Davis KC, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The Bahama Brass Band presents That Will Be Close, Sound of Harmony #9, The Road to 50. Join us as we celebrate in song at 5 p.m. on Sunday, January 29, 2023 at Jubilee Cathedral. Tickets are $20. Come out and join us on the road to 50.
The coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the this, sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice honey, addict, all of my love me, sweet like sugar in a watch it go ba ba ba, 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 sweet like sugar in a
new clear platinum flavored beers with a kick of rum, make it platinum.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Bahama Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You ladies are our Facebook friends of the day. We say congratulations on 110 years of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. We also want to wish Daniel Cox in Pinedale a happy birthday from the entire news team. And last but definitely not least, the biggest birthday shout out goes out to my amazing mother, Shireen Scott Bowe, who is celebrating her special day today. And that's going to do it from the entire team here in the North. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you for watching, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Tourism officials happy with cruise passenger numbers. Sam Bankman-Fried touts his innocence. Chinese officials mark New Year celebrations. And in sports, a Bahamian makes the cut at the Latin American Golf Championships. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jimenita Swain, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. It was 13 years ago to the day yesterday that some 220,000 Haitian nationals lost their lives and hundreds more were injured during that earthquake that took place in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. That natural disaster exacerbated an already dire situation in that country, still reeling from political, economic, and social turmoil, resulting in scores of Haitians fleeing their homeland and illegally migrating in other countries. Carla Palmer tells us more.
And then we'll inform from United States that a earthquake hit in Haiti where about 500,000 people was passed away.
Rudy Petit-Frere recalls the day upon hearing the news of that 7.0 magnitude earthquake that struck his homeland of Haiti, Port-au-Prince, leveling homes, killing many of his friends, and leaving thousands more homeless. Petit-Frere says he was not there at the time. He's a Haitian national residing in the Bahamas since March of 1989.
Anytime, just like today, when we informed that there was no communication in Haiti, like no communication by telephone or anyhow.
Petit-Frere says he's grateful, however, for the lives spared and thankful in more ways than one for the Bahamas and its assistance to his countrymen.
It was very awful for this country at this moment. And then we all remember this date. And I can say I thank the government of the Bahamas for remembering this.
That earthquake only made worse an already bad situation in Haiti. For years, due to political and economic instability, Haitian migrants have been running away from their country to others like the Bahamas in hopes of finding a better way of life. Sarji Simon says that's why he came here more than 30 years ago.
I can say Haiti become a hell for our own people. The people, try to move where they can live comfortably.
Some people are happy, some people cry because you get some people dead. I ain't dead. I say, thank you, God, because I ain't dead. And somebody cry because they lost children and husband. I don't care how much people won't go Miami. I ain't going because I love Nassau Bahamas.
Still, Petty Frere is cautioning those Haitian nationals against making that treacherous and a dangerous voyage by sea on those unworthy sea vessels to stop. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Thanks, Carla. 122 Haitian nationals were repatriated to their home country of Haiti early this morning. The latest repatriation exercise comes after officials confirmed that 2022 was the biggest year for repatriations in a number of years. Immigration officials also conducted several repatriation exercises last week, including on New Year's Day. Up to August, more than 2,000 illegal migrants had been repatriated. Meantime, 18 illegal migrants were apprehended by authorities on the island of Inagua yesterday after a concerned citizen alerted police that a group of illegal migrants were in the area of the bus Clark Harbor east of Matthew Town. Police and members of the Bahamas National Trust searched the area and arrested 14 men and 4 women. They were taken to the Matthew Town police station and later handed over to the Department of Immigration for further processing. In other news tonight, the Organization of the American States Permanent Council officials has announced that they will welcome Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, during its meeting next week, January 18th at 11:30 in the Hall of Americas at the OAS's Washington, D.C. headquarters. According to its website, the OAS Permanent Council keeps vigilance over the maintenance of friendly relations among member states and effectively assists them in the peaceful settlement of their disputes. Well, more good news on the growth of the country's leading industry as arrivals continue to make history, attracting increased visitors, all on the heels of the new ports opening in a matter of months. And as tourism officials toured a number of sites in recent months, spreading the message that the country is open for business, the results, according to our Lloyd Allen, are promising.
What we found is our brand is already extremely strong.
That statement by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, clearly supported by increased arrivals here at the Nassau Cruise Port, with momentum growing.
I'm Mike. This is my family, Aubrey, Tucker, Nicole. I haven't been to the Bahamas in like 20 years, but it's awesome to see everything growing and the expansion and everything. Weather's beautiful. The cruise has been great.
The construction did not affect our day at all. There's been plenty of shopping, fun to be had with. That didn't bother us.
I see it as improvement for your community. And it's a nice place to come when you see things keeping modern.
Arrivals last year are pegged at just over 3.2 million cruise passengers, and it's something Tourism Minister Cooper sees as a green light toward growth for the industry.
We anticipate that all things being equal, 2023 is going to be up by at least 20% based on what we see now, 20% compared to 2019. And you would recall 2019 has been a record-setting year for tourism.
Based on metrics, Cooper says tourism sectors across the board are spotting strong signs of growth as the numbers are continuing to improve.
Today we had a record-setting 26,000 passengers coming through Nassau Cruise Port.
With the new cruise pier set for Long Island, the question of introducing cruise ports in other cities throughout the country remains unlikely.
When you look at the new cruise ship of today and tomorrow, these are the mega ships, the Oasis class ships, the Wonder of the Seas. It's the most recent launch of the Royal Caribbean fleet, and they accommodate 7,500 passengers roughly. Only certain ports they can go into. That's Nassau, some of the private islands. That's designed for these ships, and Freeport to some extent.
Meantime, the Nassau Cruise Port Limited this week confirming a number of 2023 updates. This year alone, 157,000 cruise passengers recorded to date. NCP also noting a post-pandemic record of 26,410 passengers on a single day last week, an uptick from 25,393 passengers a few days prior. And with that said, all aboard as the cruise industry in the Bahamas continues to pick up speed. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
In other news, Governor General His Excellency the Most Honorable Cornelius Smith started the new year with his annual luncheon with the Cabinet. Led by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, the Cabinet enjoyed the event in the Coral Room of Margaritaville Beach Resort this past Wednesday. Well, the Governor General hosted the official opposition this Thursday at a luncheon at Grey Cliff on West Hill Street. There, the group was led by opposition leader Michael Pintard. While you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, more news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse with my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Because they were on sale, Keisha bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? Come and satisfy that hunger at KFC before doing something crazy. Snack Box for only $5 with a piece of juicy KFC fried chicken, creamy mashed potato, and the buttery biscuit. A finger-licking good deal.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
Thanks for staying with us. Apparently, those new price amendments of the Price Control Act may end next week for the pharmaceutical industry. But if it does, members of the Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association are satisfied that they and customers will benefit. The BPA president gave our Altavis Munnings this update earlier today.
Private pharmacists may have raised the temperature last year in November when they temporarily closed their doors to get government to address their price control regulation concerns. Well, fast forward almost 2 months later, and these health professionals are satisfied they successfully transitioned into the new amendments given the short time frame.
Price Control did come out to do their inspections as we're usually inspected, and at that time, dialogue between ourselves and Price Control were fluid and they were positive. You know, we both viewed the items and made our comments as to how it's going. So Price Control they were pleased that the pharmacies that were inspected were compliant, and pharmacy was pleased with them coming out and going through everything with us.
Here's the numbers. Wholesale prices switched from 25 to 20%, and the 50% retail price is now down to 40%. And there hasn't been any negative pushback from pharmacy industry stakeholders on the new numbers.
So on the wholesale end, I would say during that time, the items that were a primary worry were those cold chain items, items that need refrigerations, items that need special inventory, because they would be the bulk of cost, additional cost when purchasing. And on our end, it would have been a 10% economic saving to our customers, to our patients. So they definitely saw the savings, So it was a welcoming change for them during that time frame. It was Christmas where funds are needed for the season.
According to Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association President Shantia McBride, these prices are scheduled to end January 17th. However, she claims government hasn't signaled yet whether the amendments will stay or go.
Well, I'm sure if government requires us to continue the amendments, they would come back to the table, and then we would sit back down and see where to go from there. If it is their request, we would like to have some type of indication as to why they came to that arrangement. And then, so we've been having positive feedback from the government. They've been having a good dialogue with us. So I'm sure they would come back to us before that time.
The Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association is very pleased with their dialogue with government that will now move from finances to patient prevention and disease management. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings.
Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, confirming that renovations at the Princess Margaret Hospital here in New Providence and the Rand Memorial Hospital in Grand Bahama are targeting their completion deadlines as efforts continue to build capacity and enhance the delivery of healthcare services across the country. Last year, the Public Hospitals Authority reached an agreement with Doctors Hospital that allows for the transfer of some PMH patients to Doctors Hospital West. The move paved the way for critical infrastructural challenges at PMH to be addressed without disrupting essential services. He also noted that modular units earmarked for PMH should soon arrive.
We're waiting patiently for the new modular units, which are hurricane resistant. As you're aware, the hurricane season is about 5 or 6 months away, quick as that. And so now we're about to construct this particular unit, ensuring that we have the capability to conduct our regular services here at the Princess Margaret Hospital and Rand Memorial Hospital, while at the same time dealing with the pandemic. So we are at that point now where these units are going to be in New Providence within about 10 days. The ones are in Grand Bahama now. Contracts were awarded for those to be constructed. And thank God, very shortly, the cluster we have at the emergency room with seeing patients outside of the Rand Memorial Hospital will be resolved.
Health officials are keeping a close eye on the new COVID variant XBB.1.5 that is said to be highly transmissible.
Samples have already been sent off for gene sequencing. It's in the Caribbean. We have a very robust rebound of our tourism sector. I suspect that it is here. Confirmation will be on the way because the samples were sent off to either Panama or Brazil.
Well, you may recall there were 2 patients in the world who experienced stem cell treatment with the hope of eliminating HIV through a cure. And while research continues in the way of finding a cure, Director of the National Infectious Disease Program, Dr. Nakia Forbes, updates us on the status of those cases.
There have been 2 patients in the world that have been cured, and there is a protein where HIV enters into cells, and that's called CCR5. And this receptor that is on certain cells is how HIV gets into the cells and starts replicating. And so it is found that some people who are naturally immune to HIV have a mutation of that CCR5. And so therefore HIV would not enter into those cells. Now, it so happens that there are certain other conditions that will require a stem cell transplantation. For example, some blood cancers. And so if those persons have both HIV and these blood cancers, they could be candidates for having a stem cell transplantation with a donor that has that CCR5 mutation.
Those patients were in Berlin and London, while Dr. Forbes admits, though, that the procedure was a difficult one.
Now, that procedure in itself is very, very complicated. In fact, it can be life-threatening. I think the first Berlin patient did end up very sick with side effects while that process was happening. Interestingly, there have been other attempts to do the stem cell transplantation, and it was not successful. But it has been documented in those 2 patients. And then there's one other modality that's being studied, and that is called gene editing, where scientists are looking at how maybe their own genes could be edited to express that CCR5 mutation. And so those are some of the areas that are being studied as it relates to HIV cure.
Well, this new year introducing a sure sign that many Bahamians continue to invest, specifically in areas of home ownership. Our Lloyd Allen has more on a number of developments and as expected trends in the year.
I think we're going to have a good year, be a good start to the year for housing.
Housing Minister, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, is excited about various housing projects now underway around the country. Here in the capital, she says Phase 1 is complete for the Pinecrest development, along with other projects now advancing.
We're now in discussions to have that expanded into a second phase. Not quite sure the number of homes that will be in that second phase yet, because we're still in the early stage of discussing the land mass, the size of the land, and infrastructure work, and then, of course, the cost. And so we're working diligently to get that rolling so that it isn't a long stop period. The Renaissance at Carmichael is moving pretty well. I think they have a good bit of foundations. They're probably already started with some of the homes up to Belcours.
Colby Davis also providing an update on the proposed rent-to-own initiative.
That is a pilot project, and so it's just a small bit of scattered lots that we have in New Providence. Some of the Family Islands will be using, and we have some homes in Abaco that we will be transitioning into our rent-to-own. We had a little bit of technical things that we had to sort out, and we were speaking with the AG office to assist with advising us to make sure the agreement protects the occupant, but also has a good, clear guidance of the next steps for the government in our relationship with the rent-to-own occupants.
You may also recall during the previous administration there was a proposed housing development in the Killarney constituency. While Colby Davis says that project unfortunately never materialized, but she is satisfied that many of the applicants have advanced to current home purchasing options.
A number of persons that did come out to a lot of our housing fairs spoke to me on the side and said that they had put an interest in. I can't confirm that because I didn't have the paperwork to confirm it, but we have a lot of young persons that are now transitioning themselves into Pinecrest and also in the Renaissance at Carmichael.
And despite a bumpy road ahead by international reports regarding the economy, Bahamians both young and old continue to either enhance current homes or build, proving that the construction sector remains resilient. And as the year progresses, home ownership continues to unfold, including payment options. Now, while the rent-to-own option is not officially finalized, the government is hoping that once approved, it will pave the way for even more Bahamians to get their own piece of the pie in communities like this. Reporting from Pinecrest for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, Comptroller of Customs Ralph Monroe is warning business owners selling items that they do not have distributorship rights over to stop immediately. The Customs head says it's particularly a problem with beers and other alcoholic beverages, where the sole distributors have complained over persons having been importing and selling them. Monroe says the Customs Department will make it a mission to cut down on the trend.
We say it here at this press conference so that those persons who have run afoul of the law and may have imported them, whether they were smuggled or whether they did so simply without the permission, because it's an intellectual property that the sole distributorship have, we're saying to them to cease and desist. That is an area that Customs is going to pursue vigorously.
Well, come January 19th, the 32nd annual Bahamas Business Outlook is set to return after a 3-year break, and according to organizer Joan Aubrey, the event will be highlighted a keynote address from Prime Minister focusing on the road to 50, along with an exciting list of speakers.
And we could not be discussing moving forward without focusing on energy. And we have chosen as our topic for energy revolution. And that's what we need in our country. We need a revolution in energy. And so we are pleased that a female engineer, Toni Seymour, will be addressing this particular topic. And then our final topic in that session is something that is extremely important to all of us, and that is the topic of banking.
Well, speaking at the conference on the topic of the evolution of banking and financial services is President of the Clearing Banks Association, Roger Archer, who says as much of the world continues to evolve, there are steps needed by all in order to navigate to calmer economic waters.
I think what we'll look at would be how regulations have informed and changed what we've seen in banking over the last 2 decades or so. In addition to that, we've had what I would consider, especially in the Bahamas, 3 significant shocks. We've had the pandemic, we've had Hurricane Dorian, but we also suffered from the 2008 financial crisis. And these things tend to influence how financial services and banking evolve as well.
The Freedom of Information Act has not been shelved, but is in the first stage of being implemented. That is according to Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, when asked when the public could look forward to the Act's full implementation. President of the Bar Association, Khalil Parker, also called for the Act's full implementation during the opening of the legal year Wednesday. Although the Christie administration passed a new Freedom of Information Act in 2017, the Minnis administration implemented it, hiring Keith Thompson in 2021 as the Freedom of Information Commissioner. Asked if it would be fully implemented during the Davis administration's 5-year term, Watson said he could not say.
The PILT stage is launching. Training is underway in the government agencies right now as we speak. So it is in the process of being launched. It's not just sitting on the shelf. The process is taking place. The training is taking place. The first stage is being launched. Yes, there is willpower to do it. It was something Prime Minister said when I spoke with him this morning. He has the willpower to see it fully implemented.
It's time now for the weekly poll question, and this week we asked, who do you think is ultimately responsible for addressing juvenile delinquency? A, parents, B, government, C, both. And here's your response to the poll question. Those responding through the ZNS website, 63% said parents, 0% said government, and 36% said both. Those responding via Twitter said 51% parents, 7% government, and 35% said both. And on YouTube, 55% said parents, 3% said government, and 42% said both. We do appreciate your participation in our weekly poll. While you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, there is more to come after this.
Tourism today, Bahamas tourism today.
A lot of people ask, well, what's the secret about Inagua? Like the song say, Inagua is the best kept secret. You know, when folks come here today, some don't know what to expect. You know, this little place is just so sweet. My name is Randolph Burrows, but I'm better known as Casper the Friendly Ghost all over the world. I'm a local trained tour guide here on the island. No stress, just living the good life. And, you know, we have a lot of wildlife here. I always spend a lot of time when I was growing up out in the wilderness with my grandfather, my uncles and stuff. So that's where my passion for the outdoors came from, just being in it all day, every day. You could go with me for about half an hour and I could blow your mind. A lot of folks, when they come to the island, they want to see flamingos and they want to see salt. You know, they have this picture in their mind that, oh, well, there's a salt company here. They have a little pond, they produce salt. But on our way out to the salt factory, when we drive through the crystallizers and they see how vast the operation, and that alone just blows their mind. They come with a concept that, all the flamingos are in a little pond somewhere you can drive up. That doesn't happen. Sometimes it takes longer to go, but once we get the good spot, like you saw yesterday, it's mind-blowing. We have it estimated probably well over 80,000. We've had a few good breeding years, so they're here, there, and everywhere. But when you actually see it live in person, people just break down and cry. It was so beautiful. Eco-tourism spot. You can come, you can go fishing, birding, you can go donkey watching. Population of burrowing owls is growing. You can see them pretty much anywhere you go on the island. I think that's the secret. The people are nice, the environment is nice and peaceful. There's just something about this place. It's just a sweet place.
Sarah, how are you doing?
Okay.
Are you sure? I noticed you've been down lately.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know. I can't really put into words how I'm feeling, but I know I don't feel like myself sometimes. There's just so much going on in my life. School, friends, sports. Sometimes I worry about different things and feel stressed.
I'm glad you're talking to me. And it's okay to talk about your feeling. It's normal to feel changes depending upon what's going on around you.
Yeah?
Of course. All of us should be concerned with our mental health and our well-being. Good mental health means that we can cope with our everyday stresses. You can talk to me anytime when you feel like it.
Okay. Make sure that we check and talk more often and take things from there.
Message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Make your company representative stand out through an embroidery design on your uniforms from Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Janae's utilizes the latest state-of-the-art embroidery technology to monogram large and small quantities of shirts, caps, bags, and other articles. If you don't already have a digitized logo, Janae's can design and digitize your idea and bring it to life. Then install the logo of your choice from their large selections of 27 stock colors of golf shirts in cotton or dry fit, caps, or workwear. Call 394-8385 or 6 or visit www.janaes.com.
Chinese New Year celebrations kicked off Thursday evening at the Margaritaville Resort. The Chinese embassy and government officials taking part in the grand occasion. Millions of Asians around the world, including the Bahamas, have already begun festivities with fireworks, parades, food, and exchanges of red envelopes filled with cash. Desmond Sanders has more.
Year in Asia is being recognized as the Year of the Rabbit, symbolizing compassion and success. Scores of Chinese residents and Bahamians fill the Compass Ballroom of the Margaritaville Resort, taking part in the grand celebrations for the new year. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis says the new year holds much optimism for the Republic. He's applauding the strength of the decades-long China-Bahamas relationship.
This month, both the Bahamas and China welcome the new year, which represents the start of an auspicious occasion for both of our nations. It marks the start of a new 25 years of fruitful bilateral relations between the Bahamas and China, of the 50th anniversary of independence. In acknowledgement of this, I reflect on the meaningful and far-reaching engagements between us, which include the deepening of sister city relations between Grand Bahama and Yunnan Province, cooperation towards the refurbishment of the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, advancing sustainable development through renewable energy projects throughout the country, continued dialogue on other critical national priorities related to health, infrastructure, education, training, capacity building. The installment of the Bahamas' ambassador in Beijing, who has already worked to enhance our bilateral relations in China, along with a new support team.
Prime Minister Davis says despite the global challenges due to COVID-19, China will continue its journey towards enhanced economic development while sustaining its collaboration with the international community. He hopes the relationship between the two countries continues to grow and thrive.
The country China has made remarkable progress in recent decades, both domestically and internationally. China has enjoyed expansive Modernization, seen the alleviation of poverty for some 800 million persons since the 1970s, and cemented an increasingly consequential role in global politics. We have been fortunate to witness and share success with you. We have no doubt that you will continue to achieve great things. The Bahamas and China have a strong and enduring relationship, and look forward to taking our ties and cooperation in the years to come.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of China-Bahamas diplomatic relations. The Chinese ambassador to the Bahamas looks forward to heightened linkages and investments between the two countries.
The past year has also been a special year for China-Bahamas relations. It was the 25th anniversary of our diplomatic relationship. In particular, we are enormously proud of what the Bahamas Chinese community has done in introducing the traditional dragon boat racing to the Bahamas. I must applaud the good work done by the Bahamas Dragon Boat Association, particularly the new president, Dr. Christine Ching, and the founding president, Ms. Kei Tong, and the entire team. I also wish to recognize the valuable contributions made by Chinese companies in the Bahamas, as represented by China Construction America. We actually are enjoying the fruits of their work, such as this wonderful facility at Margaritaville. Spring is a season of hope and a time for planting the seeds of success. As the full implementation of 20th Party Congress work plans starts in earnest, and as the Bahamas are in its golden jubilee of independence, let's hope that the year of the rabbit will bring us good luck and success, so that our world will be free of the COVID-19 virus and free of war, hunger, or deprivation.
Millions expected to bring in the Chinese New Year, celebrated in China for thousands of years. The Chinese New Year, also called the Spring Festival, is based on a complicated calendar that uses both the lunar and solar cycles to calculate dates. Desmond Son is Bahamas Tonight.
Well, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried speaking out for the first time since his arrest and arraignment on fraud charges in a New York court last month. He claimed in a post Thursday on Substack, which is a blogging platform, that he did not steal money and did not stash billions of dollars away. This comes after he pleaded not guilty to 8 fraud-related charges in a New York court earlier this month. In detailing his defense in the blog post, Bankman-Fried blamed the collapse of FTX on a broad crash in cryptocurrency markets. He also claimed that FTX US is fully solvent and that the company experienced collateral damage from a liquidity crunch. The 30-year-old also accuses a U.S. law firm of pressuring FTX into bankruptcy. Bankman-Fried remains on house arrest on a $250 million bail as he awaits the start of his trial in October of this year. As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
During 2022, Family Guardian was honored to provide tangible assistance to numerous Bahamian communities, organizations, and charities, including the Bahamas Kidney Association, Bahamas Humane Society, Bahamas Crisis Center, Stapleton School, Salvation Army School for the Blind, Nurses Association, Persis Rogers Home for the Aged, Grand Bahama Children's Home, 4D Stallions Track Club, Rhythm and Youth Rake and Scrape Band, Cancer Society of the Bahamas, Reach Out Youth Organization, Falcon Boys Club, Royal Bahamas Police Force Dependents Trust, PACE, Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, the Down Syndrome Center, Great Commission Ministries, and Every Child Counts Special Needs School. Our record of corporate giving speaks for itself, and our commitment to positively impact the communities where we work and live remains a foundational principle for our company. As the year draws to a close, we would like to say thank you to our clients and a Merry Christmas and a healthy, happy, and prosperous New Year to all from the management and staff of Family Guardian.
You are invited to the 32nd Annual Bahamas Business Outlook on Thursday, January 19th at the Baha Mar Convention Center with keynote speaker Prime Minister the Right Honorable Philip Davis. A diverse slate of speakers from various industries will address the theme Forward, Upward, Onward Together in celebration of the nation's 50th year of independence. Register now at tclevents.com to attend. Don't miss Bahamas Business Outlook, January 19th.
Minister of the Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Juan Miller, and a delegation recently visited the Island School on Eleuthera that is continuing its legacy of environmental stewardship. During a tour of the facility, he stressed the importance of what the school does as stewards of the environment, noting the importance of maintaining a delicate balance between sustainable development and preventing a waste of resources. The school has several green power initiatives that includes a biodiesel production plant that runs vehicles on the campus, wind turbines to harness energy, a cistern for rainwater collection, and an aquaponics system that provides leafy greens for consumption at the school. The Island School currently has research on coral reefs and atmospheric science underway. Miller celebrates the school as one that preserves the island's responsibility, adding that, quote, the school can be designated as an asset for Eleuthera and by extension the entire Bahamas. This project is very important for the survival of a lot of our native species, especially those that live in the ocean, end quote. Well, from the crime beat, a 16-year-old female student is currently assisting police with their investigation after she reportedly sold cookies laced with suspected marijuana on a school campus in North Eleuthera. Police were notified around 2:30 Thursday afternoon that some students who reportedly bought and ate the infused cookies were not feeling well. The students complained that they were feeling lightheaded, nauseous, and dizzy. They were all taken to the local clinic for medical attention, accompanied by their parents. Police investigations into that matter continue. Well, a 34-year-old Chinese woman was discovered submerged in waters in the area of the Sea Aquarium in Staniel Key, Exuma, Thursday afternoon. She was taken to the Staniel Key Clinic for initial medical attention and was later airlifted here to the capital, where she is detained in hospital in stable condition. Investigations into the matter are underway. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jimenita. Partly cloudy skies this evening. Temperature at 75 degrees. Your relative humidity at 63%. We have southwest winds at 22 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,011.9 millibars. That is 29.88 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening. They are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 66 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Greentoll Key, Marsh Harbor at 73, and that will change in a short while as that frontal system goes through. In the Berry Islands, 77. Alisal, Bimini, 67 degrees, 78 in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 76 degrees. Also Black Point, Exuma, and Kemps Bay, St. Andrews at 76 degrees. Fresh Creek in Central Andrews, 78. 77s in Otterstown, Cat Island. San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown. Exuma in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. The mercury column got up to 77 degrees. At Betsy Bay, Maguana, 78. Ackland, 78, Matchitown, Inagua, 79, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 77 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, southwest to west winds at 10 to 15 knots. That will be shifting northwest, increasing in speeds. Wave heights initially 2 to 4 feet, building 3 to 6 feet over the ocean behind the front. The high tide that will take place at 23 minutes past midnight in the central and southeastern parts of our country. The winds will flow out of the southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights at 2 to 4 feet. Now tomorrow, Saturday, in the northwest and central parts of the country, northwesterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, rough seas 4 to 7 feet. Caution flags go in place for the northwest and central islands. Tomorrow, low tide will occur at 6:34 tomorrow morning, with a high tide at 12:30 in the afternoon. And for the southeast Bahamas on Saturday, a westerly flow at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, maintaining caution flags for the southeast bombers. And then on Sunday, for all areas, northwest to north winds, 15 to 25 knots, very rough sea conditions at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. So we have an advisory in place for boaters on Sunday throughout the 700 Island. Low tide on Sunday, that will occur at 7:34 in the morning with your high tide at 1:23 in the afternoon. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
She texts me back. She says she ready for some of that. I say, what you talking about?
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
What if I told you that the future is here? That is not some magical door we walk through, but a place we create. It's home. The fastest, most secure, and reliable way to stream the internet. So you can do what you want, whenever you want. That's the power of Alive Fiber. The future is Alive Fiber.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
Let's make 2023 our best year yet. Super value and quality supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Best value whole kernel corn, 15 ounce, $1.09. Hunt's ketchup, 32 ounce, $2.89. Sweet mangoes, 2 for $3. Bone-in chicken breasts, $1.99 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at super value and quality supermarkets.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The Latin America Amateur Golf Championships teeing off on Thursday in Puerto Rico. Two Bahamians in the field. Richard Gibson Jr. was tied for 47th after the first round, a 1-over-par 73. That included 3 birdies and 4 bogeys. Heathcliff Kane sat in a tie for 84th after the opening round with a 5-over-77. He had 1 birdie, 4 bogeys, and a double bogey. In round 2 Friday, Gibson shot a 1-under-71, which included 4 birdies and 3 bogeys. Kane was 6 over for the round with 3 birdies, 5 bogeys, and 2 double bogeys. At even par after 2 rounds, Gibson making the cut for the weekend, while Kane's competition is over at +11. The government secondary school basketball season back on court Thursday. The R.M. Bailey Pacers and GHS Magic senior boys playing a low-scoring ball game with the Magic coming out on top 39-33, behind 10 points from Lens Dolcine. Bryson Roll also had 10 points in the loss for the Pacers.
I think we started off with the jitters, a little scared. But as the second quarter, third quarter came along, the guys settled it down. 1 or 2 missed plays, 1 or 2 missed calls. But all in all, I think we did a good game. We had a good game. We'll certainly go back to practice and be ready to execute. I just wish I had a lot more time to work with them. Coming back out of the pandemic and everything, wasn't sure what was going on. It's like we only had about 3 weeks to sort of put the team together. They catching on fast, they grasping the information, and they able to execute most of the plays. It's just 1 or 2 we got to work on, and we'll be good. We have a little saying, we believe in our God, we believe in our coaches, we believe in our players, and most importantly, we believe in ourselves. So we believe. So that's what we push, that's what they're about, and it's us against everybody.
And junior boys played the Eston McPherson Sharks, winning a low-scoring ball game over the Anton Rogers Timberwolves, 25-9.
This is the first game of the season, so I know my boys was a little bit nervous. They were excited to play Anatol, as you can see in the first half. We had a little accident, and then we came back in the second half and calmed down a little bit. Coming from the pandemic, these guys haven't played ball in, 2-3 years, so one game at a time.
Kevon Spence in his first season as head coach of the Doris Johnson Mystic Marlins senior boys team, taking over from Danico Bowles, who's now at Anatol Rogers. After picking up a season-opening win over CC Sweeting on Wednesday, Coach Spence spoke about his expectations for the rest of the season.
We're taking it one game at a time. The sky's the limit. We are the defending champions. No, it's no pressure on us because, we're a new unit. The team that did it for us for the school years ago, they're long gone. We're just trying to stand on their shoulders and, be great.
The BAISS private school basketball season also underway, and the Nassau Christian Crusaders junior boys still trying to find their footing.
We started off a little rough. We had some games that was a little challenge for us, but at the end of the day, NC Nassau Christian Academy is developing in basketball at this time. The players, the fundamentals of the game, and trying to do our best, just trying to get them on a level that they can be competitive. Part of that comes with just plenty practice, plenty games, trying to get their confidence up. We're already a good softball school, and we're trying to just develop them and just competitive in other areas of the school.
From the College Hardwood, Coach Yolette McPhee-McQuinn and the Ole Miss Running Rebels women's basketball team now 16-2 on the season, 5-0 in the SEC after a 66-58 win over Georgia Thursday night. This was just the second time in program history and the first time since 2010 the Lady Rebels won on the road in Athens. Ole Miss also 3-0 on the road in conference play for the first time since 1992, and this was their first win overall against the Bulldogs since 2015.
I told our girls we would have to play 40 minutes if we wanted to get a win, and Georgia stayed true to that. Coach Abe just does a phenomenal job. We knew this was going to be a tough game for us, and we would need to come out and play our best basketball in order to get a win here. So I'm just really grateful for that.
Up next for Coach Joe and the Lady Rebs now, a matchup at home on Sunday against Alabama.
Alabama is a very old, experienced team. Reminded me kind of like what we did. I think they lost in the semifinal round of the NIT, and they brought everybody back and then added a few pieces. So a great opportunity ahead of us to continue to build our resume for the NCAA tournament.
Kyle Wilson, the McKendree Bearcats men's volleyball team, picking up their first win of the season in midweek action over the New Jersey Institute of Technology, 25-22, 25-21, 21-25, and 25-20. Wilson had a match-high 17 kills to go along with 2 digs and an ace. Wilson and the Bearcats were scheduled to be back on court again tonight against Central State, but that match has been canceled. McKendree now off until next Friday when they travel to Massachusetts for a 2-match series with St. Francis and Harvard. The Senior Moments softball at sea team made their way to the Bahamas earlier this week for the first time since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. They've been visiting our shores for the better part of the past 2 decades, forging friendships with locals and getting in some fun, yet competitive action on the diamond. Based out of Orlando, the organization has seen growth of late, and moving forward, they intend to bring an even larger contingent.
Everybody's like, wow, this sounds like a great opportunity to get over and meet new people, make new friends, and you guys have shown us such great hospitality. We have over 300 men and women in our league. Great league. We play 60 and over and 70 over. We have 2 divisions. We got a guy playing that's 89 years old in our senior division and still plays competitively and plays nationally.
The Senior Moments softball game was a prelude to the start of the Masters softball season, which gets underway next week Saturday at the Archdeacon William Thompson Park.
We have the potential of having at least 10 teams in the league this year, which is huge. It's an opportunity for men over 50 to show that they still have something left. They still can play the game of softball at a high level. And it's allowing them to have fun and to fellowship because, this is one of our last means of exercise.
That's a look at sports. Check on weather up next.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
He was a leader in the civil rights movement in the United States. Dr. Martin Luther King also supported the Bahamas. The University of the Bahamas and the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated Phi Mu and Iota Lambda chapters present the 7th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Guest Lecture. Guest lecturer will be civil rights lawyer and 29th General President of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Milton Carver Davis, Esquire. The theme of this year's lecture, Injustice Anywhere is a Threat to Justice Everywhere. Join the lecture live from the University of the Bahamas Performing Arts Center. And it's right here on the ZNS Television Network, Monday, January 16th, 2023 at 8:30 p.m.
We are here in the time of need. There's no discrimination. The mission is to relieve the suffering. We volunteer, we deliver care. With donors and partners, we're always here to turn compassion into action. Protecting life and health with our training throughout the years. We empower to heal the world. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas. Community farming for food security. Climate programs suited for our island country. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas.
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Between 2011 to 2021, there has been over 1,400 road traffic accidents that have resulted in fatalities or serious injuries in the Bahamas. In 2022, there has been over 55 traffic fatalities on our streets. Over 80% of traffic fatality victims were males. The number of traffic accidents involving pedestrians rose to more than 15. A significant increase in fatal traffic accidents were reported on the islands of New Providence and Eleuthera. As your Minister of Transport and Housing, I am urging you to slow down to stay alive. Here are some tips from stakeholders to keep you safe.
Avoid using cellular phones while driving. Use seat belts when driving and helmets when riding motorcycles and bicycles. Do not operate motor vehicles while under the influence of alcohol or while sleep deprived. Drive within the speed limit, always.
Where possible, use sidewalks. If none is available, walk on the shoulder of the road facing traffic. Cross the road only at designated points. Increase your visibility by wearing brightly colored clothes when out at night or early in the morning hours. Never play near or on roadways.
During this holiday season, remember, your destination is the reward for safe driving. Drive safe to arrive to cheers and not to tears. Slow down to stay alive, Bahamas.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we had a pre-frontal trough went through the capital during the late afternoon, and that dumped 1 or 2 brief showers in parts of the area. The frontal system now has gone through Grand Bahama, moving across the Berry Islands, will move through the capital later on tonight, and that could also spring 1 or 2 brief showers as it passes through. But behind that, we're going to see temperatures tumbling into the 50s. Tonight, though, we're looking at very windy conditions behind that front with a passing shower. Otherwise, mainly clear once that frontal system goes through. Low temperature tonight is around 65 degrees, which is not too bad. And then tomorrow we're looking at very windy conditions, very chilly with partial sunshine. The high temperature tomorrow, 67 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, we're going to see those temperatures getting in the upper 50s on Saturday, Sunday, and that will hang right into Monday. So you're going to have to really bundle up and keep yourself warm over the weekend. Things will start to warm up a bit as we head into the early part of next week, getting back up into the upper 70s during the daytime as those nighttime temperatures climbing back into the 60s. But until then, the chilly weather is on the way as we promise you all week long. Jimmy.
Thanks, Basil. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.